I'll call to order the meeting of the Ellettsville Plan Commission for Thursday, October 6th, 2022. The first thing I would like for us to do is to take a moment of silence for Terry Baker, who was a member of the Plan Commission for many years, as well as I believe the Board of Zoning Appeals. He passed away on September 8th, and we'll just take a moment of silence for him. Okay. Dan, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Denise, roll call, please.
Katie Drake.
Here.
Dan Swaffer.
Here.
Don Calvert.
Here.
Sandra Hash.
Here.
Pamela Samples. Here. Pat Wezalowski.
Here.
How long was Terry on the Planning Commission?
Over 20 years.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
looked
he-
it up.
92, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's as long as I can remember. I
Yeah.
started here in 92 and seems like he's always been on it.
Well, unfortunately, they had the funeral so quickly that I didn't even know about it until it was already passed. I don't get the newspapers, so.
Yeah, that was same with us.
He'll be missed. Yep.
Okay, next item on our agenda is approval of the minutes from September 1st, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Monthly conflict of interest statement. Does anyone have a conflict of interest that they want to get on the record? Okay, we have no old business. New business is the voluntary annexation of 6400 North Matthews Drive, also on West McNeely Street, 6600 block of West McNeely Street. Two parcels of 32.65 acres. The petitioner is Cook Incorporated, and the case number is PC 22-07. Denise?
Good evening. This is a super voluntary annexation by Cook Incorporated for the annexation of 4 parcels totaling 32.65 acres. There's a parcel on 6400 North Matthews, which is their main office. The West McNeely Street parcel is the pond that's in front of the main building. And then 6600 West McNeely Street has 2 parcels kind of combined, so that's why it shares the same address. They meet all requirements for the voluntary annexation with 15% contiguity. I have a hard time with that word. 100% of the property owners are parties to the petition, which is just Cook Incorporated. In Monroe County, all parcels are currently zoned L1, which is third light residential, and ours is I1, which is light industrial, because of the type of work that they do, and they have some warehouses. It's considered their West Ellettsville facility. The properties are located in Council Ward 1. It'll be serviced by water. It does not require any other capital projects to extend services. And the cost for extension of utilities is borne by any developer that Cook may hire. Town will provide police, fire, EMS, and other governmental services immediately upon annexation. All legal notices have been sent to adjacent property owners and was published in the Herald Times. Staff recommends a favorable recommendation be forwarded to town council with recommended zoning of L1 light industrial. And petitioner is represented if you have any questions.
Would the petitioner like to say anything, or?
Good Good evening. I'm Krista Curtis, and I'm Vice President of Marketing Communications at Cook. I also live here in Ellettsville, and you also know me as Envision Ellettsville co-chair. I wear a lot of different hats. We're actually really happy to be doing this, to be honest with you. Cook has a philosophy that we need to be heavily engaged and involved in our communities. And what's funny is that everybody thinks we're already a part of Ellettsville. So it's just very interesting when we started having the conversation to find out that we actually weren't in the city limits. So to sound cliche, it was a no-brainer to work with you all to bring our facility into the community. And I'm not gonna lie, I had a hand in this because I do feel it's also important for Envision Ellettsville that all the stakeholders are behind the town and what we're doing. So that's really all I have to say, unless you all have questions for me.
Anybody have any questions?
No questions, comment. It's been a long time coming. There's some interesting history about this property from years ago when the Cook tried to come into the town, and so I'm finally glad to see that they've put to rest and they're coming back.
Yeah.
Well, there's really no downside to the town that I see because the fire protection is already coming from the town of Ellettsville.
Right.
A large portion of the police protection is already coming from the town of Ellettsville because our police department is so much closer, and a lot of times we'll take the call for the sheriff's department. There are very few calls there anyway. If there are, it's usually an alarm call or something like that. So I don't see any downside to the town for this at all.
I do want to add, I didn't receive any comments from adjacent property owners either.
I got one question. They know, you guys know that you're being changed to light industry, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We are aware of that. Our facilities and our architecture group was involved.
Okay.
So everybody is aware.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Anybody else have any comments? If not, does anyone have a motion?
I make a motion that we voluntarily annex in 6400 North Matthews Drive and 6600 West McNeely Drive, or
With a
street,
recommendation.
with a favorable recommendation
For an I-1 zone.
for an I-1 zone. Anything else I need to add?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Denise, roll call, please.
David Drake,
Yes?
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
Don Calvert,
Yes.
Sandra Hash,
Yes.
Pamela Samples,
Yes.
Pat Wazalowski.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I wish they were all that easy. Thank you. I did see a coworker, or a worker from Cook was on the reviewing stand, and Carl, is that Carl Cook, is that his name, your CEO or president?
Yeah, so Carl is Bill's son, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was at the parade. He was just right
Yes.
behind Mike Farmer by the library.
Oh, wow.
So I was really excited that he took the time out of his busy
Yeah.
life to come to our parade.
Yeah, Cook family is still very, very engaged in our local community, so that's great.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
All right, well, the only other item on our agenda is planning update.
Planning is quite busy since I'm the only one in there. And just ask everybody, please have patience with me. I am behind. But other than that, I don't have anything on the horizon for November yet.
Okay, our next meeting is November 3rd. So,
Yep.
Be there, be square, right?
yep. Privilege of the floor. Is there anyone in the audience? Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
sorry. I would ask if Envision Ellettsville would provide an update under privilege of the floor.
Sure.
We just,
All right, now for my other hat, want to give you a bit of an update on Envision Ellettsville. We had a pretty large steering committee that was involved in our project, and it was time for us to move from planning and and into implementation. So we had our last official steering team meeting a couple weeks ago, which was really great. We updated the steering team. We talked to them about the conversations with the town. And now we're really into building those task forces that we mentioned to you before. We've had, and I have it here on my phone. I'm going to try to see it. I'm like Denise. If I don't have my glasses, I'm in trouble. It's been great. We've had volunteers from the community express interest to be on the task forces. And so we're building those out and trying to assign people based on maybe their interest or if they have skills or expertise in a particular area. So just to remind you, the task force are gathering, housing, business, connectivity, branding, and beautification. We've also identified on those task forces where we would love to have town staff, council, and plan commission members at least have representation on certain groups. So we have definitely identified that we would love to have someone from the plan commission on the housing task force. So if any of you would like to think about that and maybe throw your name into the hat, we definitely want someone from this group on the housing task force. But if you're interested in any of the other groups, those are options too. We're hoping to get all those slots filled within the next few days, and then we're going to start. We want to start bringing those groups together. But our focus, if I remember correctly, our focus, and you may have to help me out, Mike, but it's going to be the business task force and the gathering task force. And the reason for that is those first task orders are looking at the Stewart property and downtown. Remember, we talked about just sort of looking at those designs. So we want to start with those task forces so we can get input from the community on those projects right away. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention was we talked a lot about the comprehensive plan and the UDO. And that will be in front of the town council on Monday for a vote for funding to move forward on that. So I just wanted to make sure that I was here if you had any questions about that. I know it's always better when Ron Taylor's here, but I will do my best if you have any questions for me about where we're at, the task forces, what's going to happen on Monday. I'm happy to answer questions. Yes.
Is anyone looking at traffic?
That's a part of connectivity.
That's what I thought.
Yep, for sure. It's interesting. We had a booth at the Fall Festival, and there was a couple that came up while I was working the booth, and they had just moved into town from Avon, Indiana. Moved into town because they have kids here. And that's one of the things they asked me was, we want to walk from our neighborhood, which is, I think, up behind the storage units, over to the Jiffy Treat. Mm-hmm. And we don't like to cross 46 because of the traffic. And I said, well, good news. We have a task force focused on connectivity to help people get around in the community a little better. And they were really excited to hear that.
You're talking vehicular also?
Yes, it would be. It's really about how people want to move through the community and how is that working. So it could be trails, it could be sidewalks, it could be car traffic, all of it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Kyle, that's the right name, right?
Yes.
Sent out an email to all of us. I hope you got it, and he told you the different groups of task force. And so if you are interested in one of those, you could reply to his email.
That would be great.
Yeah, and I have signed up for the gathering as my first choice and housing is my second choice. They really only want you to serve on one task force, is my understanding. So, just let you know.
Yeah, I signed up for where you're at.
The gathering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that one sounds
So I
like
think
fun.
they're trying to get it all kind of, get everybody's interest and then lay it out and make sure we've got the expertise we need on every group. So I would say send Kyle what you're interested in. But definitely,
I did.
okay, good. But we definitely would like to see the Plan Commission represented on the housing task force.
I did, I guess, I don't know. I guess
when I sent that thing, I guess I just assumed it was town council. So I guess it doesn't matter.
Which hat do you want to wear, Pam? It's like me, which hat am I wearing tonight?
I guess I just assumed I was a town council
Yeah.
when that.
I think
It doesn't matter to me what I'm put under.
To be honest with you, I think there's plenty of room for anybody and everybody who wants to participate, so. Any questions for me? Okay, well, we'll keep up with our communication. You'll continue to hear from Kyle with updates, and if you want to hear something specific, let us know and we'll be here.
And if you didn't get the email from Kyle, let me know. I'll make sure he has your email.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any plan commission comments? I don't hear any, so I'll entertain a motion
You
to
don't have to
adjourn.
do that anymore. The president can just declare.
You can just,
Oh, I liked it better when you guys had to beg me to leave.
please, please.
The meeting will be adjourned.